there has been a clash between center and states regarding disaster relief fund, और इस कारण से several states, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, they have visited to the Supreme Court that the central government has not releasing their disaster relief funds. What is the issue? ये तो जानेंगे ही जानेंगे, but before that we will be going into the very basics, means how, what are the constitutional provisions through which the states can reach to the Supreme Court. What is this Disaster Management Act? What are the provisions of funding in this? How this natural disasters are being mispronounced, right? And what has been the Supreme Court judgment in this? What should be the way forward? We will be looking each and every thing. So this is the issue. We will be coming to this issue. But first, let's go back to the basic. So there is a constitutional provisions. Article 131 of the Constitution of India. It says that the Supreme Court has the exclusive and original jurisdiction over legal issues originating between the states or the states and between the union. Means one union and the states, or between union and states and between other states. So like that. So under Article 131, if there is such kinds of issue, then the state government can directly visit to the Supreme Court. Now, for the control of disasters, for the management of disasters, right, there was an act which was passed, that was the Disaster Management Act 2005. Under this Disaster Management Act 2005, there is a provision for the central fund as well as the state fund and as well as the local level funds. So what are those provisions? First understand this. So under section 46 of this Disaster Management Act 2005, there was one fund, that was the National Disaster Response Fund, right? Please remember, this is response. So this National Disaster Response Fund, iski provisions hain. It is constituted under the Public Accounts of India. You must be knowing that there are three kinds of accounts: Consolidated Fund of India, Contingency Fund of India and the Public Accounts of India. तो ये Public Accounts of India के through ये आता है National Disaster Response Fund. It is administered by the central government and it is in supplement of the State Disaster Response Fund. So what does this mean? So whatever the fund will be there for the state disaster response, so that is not enough. Therefore, that state SDRF has to be supplemented with the national fund, and therefore this some funds from this National Disaster Response Fund will be allocated to the states, and whatever the funds will be collected inside the National Disaster Response Fund, that will be audited by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, that is CAG. So CAG will be the authority which will be auditing this. Beyond this National Disaster Response Fund, there will be a State Disaster Response Fund also. So this State Disaster Funds, how this State Disaster Fund will be allocated? It will be allocated on the basis of recommendation of the Finance Commission. Finance Commission, you know that this is a constitutional body established through the Article 280 of the Constitution of India. It is being established by the President of India for the 5 years. ये फाइनेंस कमीशन के द्वारा जो रिकमेंडेशन किया जाता है कि कितना अमाउंट सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को सेंट्रल पूल से डिफरेंट स्टेट्स को दिया जाना चाहिए फॉर दिस रिस्पांस फंड, सो दैट विल बी गिवन, राइट. मेजरली जो कोई भी डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट से कोई प्रोजेक्ट होगा, तो दैट विल बी डेल्ट इन 2 ways. तो कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट है तो इन जनरल कैटेगरी स्टेट्स, the 75% contribution for that project will be of the center and 25% contribution will be from the states. Similarly, in the special category states जो status दिया गया है, for example the 8th northeastern states and other states like the Uttarakhand, Telangana, right? So these are the special category states. इस केस में क्या होता है कि this contribution changes and their 90% contribution goes to the from the center and 10% contribution comes from the states, and this funds is being released for the immediate relief. अगर कोई कैलेमिटी आया है स्टेट के अंदर तो वो कैलेमिटी को दूर किया जा सकता है, कुछ रिलीफ प्रोवाइड किए जा सकते हैं. Beyond this, there is also provisions for local level disasters, है ना, लोकल लेवल पे जो डिजास्टर्स होते हैं उसके लिए भी. तो इसके अंदर टू कंट्रोल दिस लोकल लेवल डिजास्टर और टू दिस इन रिस्पॉन्स ऑफ दिस लोकल लेवल डिजास्टर्स एट मैक्स 10% of the STRF can be invested, right? So that is the upper limit in this regard. Now you must be thinking, इतने सारे disasters आते हैं देश के अंदर, how do you know whether it is a national disaster or not, right? Whether there is any provisions which decides whether any disaster is a national disaster or not, right? For example, this Uttarakhand flood, tsunami of 2004, they were declared as the national disaster. So on what basis they are declared as the national disaster? So you should know that there is no such provision to declare a disaster as the national disaster. इस कोई written rules नहीं है कि ये सारे rules अगर टिक हो गए तो national disaster घोषित कर दिया जाएगा, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. तो कैसे provisions हैं? The 10th Finance Commission has recommended how this national disasters can be mispronounced. For example, जैसे calamity, it will be declared on the basis of calamity of the rare severity. कि कितना ज्यादा सीवियर है वो डिजास्टर, वो डिसाइड होगा केस बाय केस बेसिस पे. देयर इज नो सर्टेन क्राइटेरिया बिकॉज नेचुरल जो नेशनल डिजास्टर है उस पर कितना डिवास्टेशन हुआ है उसके बेसिस पे ये सब चीज डिसाइड होगा. तो इट विल बी ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ इंटेंसिटी एंड द मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ द कैलेमिटी. What has been the property loss, how much has been this lives lost in that national disaster. So such kinds of things will be considered. The level of assistance needed, what kind of assistance, whether the state government themselves are sufficient enough to control that disaster, to mitigate that disaster, right, to have a response for that disaster, or whether central government's contribution is required, or whether the capacity of the states to tackle that problem will also be considered. So all these things will be considered. Only then the calamity of the rare severity will be decided, means some types of natural disaster will be declared. जब नेशनल डिजास्टर डिक्लेयर होगा तो फिर ऑब्वियसली सेंटर की तरफ से काफी ज्यादा फंड आएंगे फॉर द कंट्रोलिंग दैट डिजास्टर एज ए रिस्पॉन्स. नाउ 15th फाइनेंस कमीशन, 15th फाइनेंस कमीशन अभी 16th फाइनेंस कमीशन अब बनने वाला है. सो 15th फाइनेंस कमीशन हैज गिवन ए रिकमेंडेशन, and this recommendation is regarding the formation of mitigation fund, right? अभी तक हमने जो देखा था वो क्या देखा था? response fund, right? Now the 15th finance commission is saying that you don't only require the response fund, you also require the mitigation fund. क्योंकि mitigation करोगे, disaster mitigate होना चाहिए. Disaster should not come at the very first place, and therefore you required what? National disaster mitigation fund and state disaster mitigation fund. So this was the recommendation of the 15th finance commission. Along with that, the 15th finance commission has recommended that the funding should be on the basis of priority areas, like the funds should be provided for the national disaster response force. So funds should be provided to them on the basis of what? So that they will be more empowered. This response force will be more empowered. They will have the better modernized fire services. They will have the better things to control the disaster, right? So that should be there. Plus there should be, the fund should be allocated on the national mitigation fund should be there on the basis of targeted approach. Means जिस स्टेट में जिस तरह का डिजास्टर ज्यादा आता है उस स्टेट को उस तरह के डिजास्टर के लिए ज्यादा पैसा दिया जाना चाहिए, ज्यादा मिटिगेशन होना चाहिए, राइट? फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ सम स्टेट्स इज फ्लड प्रोन एरिया, इफ सम स्टेट्स इज लैंडस्लाइड प्रोन एरिया, इफ सम स्टेट्स इज अर्थक्वेक प्रोन एरिया, तो उस डिजास्टर के लिए उस स्टेट को ज्यादा पैसा दिया जाना चाहिए. सो इट शुड बी इन मोर ऑफ द टारगेटेड मैनर, देन ओनली द disasters can be mitigated, right? So this is there. Now coming to the issue, what has been the issue? Recently, Tamil Nadu government and earlier Karnataka government has reached to the Supreme Court, and they have accused the center that whatever the national relief fund is there, so that is not being released on time, right? So this is the issue. अब इस इशू में सुप्रीम कोर्ट का क्या कहना है, थोड़ा सा और इशू का समझते हैं. The Tamil Nadu had faced two kinds of calamity जो severe nature का था. That was the cyclone Misong, and there was unprecedented level of the flood. So because of this, the Tamil Nadu government has asked from the center around 38,000 crore rupees, right? But the center had not released this fund till now. So Tamil Nadu government has said that the center is treating the people of Tamil Nadu in stepmotherly fashion, right? Because they are denying or they are delaying the fund for the disaster relief fund. Similarly, Karnataka government. The Karnataka government has sought 18,171 crore rupees under the National Disaster Response Fund, and that fund has to be released 6 months back. But still that fund has not been released till now. So this is the issue for Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. In other states like the Kerala is also facing similar kinds of issue. They are not getting the National Disaster Response Fund on timely manner. Plus, under the Disaster Management Act 2005, there is one provision कि जिस भी स्टेट में कोई डिजास्टर आएगा मींस बड़ा लेवल पे, सीवियर लेवल पे, फॉर एग्जांपल इन तमिलनाडु, इफ दिस डिजास्टर हैज कम, देन तमिलनाडु गवर्नमेंट विल बी आस्किंग सम अमाउंट as a relief, right? So the center will be sending a team. This team will be IMCT. IMCT will be Inter-Ministerial Central Team. This team will be visiting Tamil Nadu and they will be deciding that how much funds should be released from the center, right? And ultimately, after the IMCT's recommendation, the NDRF funds has to be released. And within the act, it is written that this fund has to be released within the 1 month. Within 1 month of the visit of Inter-Ministerial Central Team, or after the recommendation of the Inter-Ministerial Recommendation Central Team, right? But the thing is, in case of Tamil Nadu, already this team has visited and this team has accepted that mass level of severity has occurred and therefore center has to release this amount of the fund, and उसके 1 महीना के अंदर अंदर ये फंड आ जाना चाहिए था, एनडीआरएफ का डिसीजन आ जाना चाहिए था, असिस्टेंस मिल जाना चाहिए था, बट 6 months has passed, तमिलनाडु has not got this fund till now, right? So this is the issue. इसके कारण तमिलनाडु government has reached to the Supreme Court. Plus the Tamil Nadu government is also saying that it violates the fundamental rights of the citizen of the Tamil Nadu, and especially those person who has been affected severely because of this kind of disaster, right? So it is also the violation of fundamental rights. What does the Supreme Court has to say? The Supreme Court has to say that let there be no consent here between the union, means let there be no contest here between the union and the states. We are seeing various state governments having to appear in the court. The Supreme Court is concerned regarding this, that why there has been such an issue that people have to reach to the Supreme Court for the release of disaster relief fund. This should not occur. And in this case specifically, the Supreme Court has directed the union government and 2 persons from the union government that within 2 weeks they should be submitting the report, right? So that is there. तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ये रिपोर्ट आएगा, आगे जाके सुप्रीम कोर्ट का कुछ डिसीजन आ सकता है, बट द थिंग इज इशू इज वेरी जेन्युइन बिकॉज ये डिजास्टर रिलीफ फंड से रिलेटेड है. डिजास्टर में जो भी प्रॉब्लम हुआ है, दैट प्रॉब्लम हैज टू बी टैकल्ड, राइट? सो व्हाट शुड बी द वे फॉरवर्ड? द वे फॉरवर्ड शुड बी, जो नेशनल डिजास्टर रिस्पांस फंड है, there should be timely release from the center to the states. There should not be any kind of delay, so that those people who are affected, they should get this timely relief, right? Plus national disaster management and the mitigation, this has to be taken very seriously, both by the central government as well as the state government, because in both of the scenario, डिजास्टर के केस में क्या होता है कि बहुत सारे लोगों की प्रॉपर्टी चली गई, बहुत सारे लोगों की जान चली गई, अब उनका जो है भरोसा है गवर्नमेंट के ऊपर ही, तो ये भरोसा टूटता है अल्टीमेटली, राइट? इट मे हैम्पर द फंडामेंटल राइट्स ऑफ द सिटीजंस, दोज पर्सन हु हैव फेस्ड सच काइंड्स ऑफ डिजास्टर, so it is their right, it is their human right, right, that they should get some kind of compensation from the government. So timely release of the disaster response fund will ensure that the fundamental rights are being provided to the citizen of the country, and it should not be necessary for every state to reach to the Supreme Court just for the release of the National Disaster Relief Fund, right? So that should not be generalized. The center themselves should release the fund on immediate basis. So this was all from this issue. I hope you have understood this. So thank you very much.